So I decided I probably should do a video on all of the information on this stuff since I know now. So for anybody out there thinking, oh, you're so mean, let it free. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you while watching him, if we can, because he's too fast. What are you doing? About this little guy, the girl. We still don't know if it's a boy or girl. We just say he because it's got attitude like a he. Okay, so he just took off again. So, California Valley Quail. I happen to live in the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, Canada. So when I found this little one, we called different places to see if they could rehabilitate the chick with other chicks, because apparently you cannot raise one single one and then let it loose into the wild. They don't know the proper etiquette, and they won't know what to do. And plus, you imprint on them. So I tried to see if I could do the rehabilitation centers for wildlife, if they would rehabilitate with possibly others that people call in with and release them into the wild. Well, I never got a call back because nobody really cares about the California Valley Quail in terms of rehabilitation, it seems, as they are an introduced species. So they are not native to this area, hence California Valley Quail, not Okanagan Valley Quail. Will you stop and go back to the front? So they are not native to this area. So my choice was to just leave the chick out there to die, or I end up with a pet quail. So being that my family has many pets and we've raised lots of different creatures and animals, and my oldest son and I are complete animal people. He's acting funny. We've got 4 guinea pigs, gecko, fish, dog, had a cat that passed at about 15 years old. Anyway, we've taken care of a lot of creatures. So my child is also the oldest one there. He's almost 15. Has also volunteered at petting zoos or petting places, game places in the past. So he's very familiar with animals as well. So it's kind of a natural for us to take it in. I mean, we weren't going to let it die outside. I just couldn't do that. So now we have a pet quail. So we will not be releasing this quail into the wild, as it would probably die. If, however, you have multiple quails, they usually say more than 2, believe it or not, you can release them. However, you cannot release these quails to just a couple during the spring and summer. And the reason being is that in the spring they pair off and they go their separate ways, and they stay in their bonded pair for the mating season and raise their babies. Sometimes they'll raise their babies in a group, but usually it's a bonded pair that raises their babies for the season, and they don't all come together until the fall. So in the fall, before it gets cold, they come together to form a large covey, and that's kind of how they stay warm in the winter. They all gather together and take care of each other, that kind of thing. So you cannot release them because they will be rejected or possibly, picked at and injured from other quail that they're not a part of the group. So if you do have to release several of these ones, not one, but several. Oh, sorry, I'm looking for it again. You have to do it in the fall when they're forming their coveys. So for anybody that's wondering, that's what you have to do. So like I said in some of our other posts, we made a little brooder, got a little light bulb, 40 watts, seemed to make it very comfortable. They say if the chick tries to stay as far away as possible from the light, that means they're too hot. If they're sprawled out, like looking like they're too hot with their wings wide out. If they are huddled, right under the lamp, they might be too cool. But we found that little tiny brooder plus, the 40-watt lamp was perfect. So you do have to make sure that they have very shallow dishes with pebbles as babies, because I guess they can drown. Yes, he just pooped on me. So I guess they can drown in the water, so that's why we have the shallow dish. Now he's got a little bit deeper of a little round dish. We do provide our quail with the chick starter food with high protein plus he forages. So the chick starter food is water soluble, therefore he would not need grit if he was just eating that. But because this little California Valley quail also goes and forages outside, I do provide it with sand, grit, and also he can dust bathe in it in his little cage that we now have him. So I still have a warming light just in a regular cage, just so if he gets cool he can go underneath it. But I also have a big pan of sand, and that's where I put his little food dish in so that he can make a mess with it. I have to keep his water away from that because he was filling it with sand, little bugger. And I've been just using, because his poops are so solid and small and easy, I've just been using some little dollar store fleece blankets for dogs in his bed, and a couple little, old dishcloths for his cuddly area underneath where his teddy bear is still in his light. So I find it's really easy to shake off the poop and just throw it in the laundry, and it's not stinky at all. And the sand I kind of change out. I'll sift it and then change it out so that it's not stinky. And it's doing really, really well. So this little one will be with us for a long time. Keeps running around the other way, as you can tell, being a little stinker. So I will keep everyone updated on whether or not it ends up being a boy or a girl, and how little Pipper is doing. You can see all my mosquito bite scars that it keeps trying to peck out on my feet. So it's nice hot summer here. He's enjoying it outside. Talk to you all soon.